Hello, my Italian food fanatics. Today we're going to make arancini. Arancini is a specialty of Sicily. It is a deep fried rice ball. Basically, risotto, typically with saffron or a saffron risotto. The leftovers are made into a ball. Some surprise is put in the center of it, like a meat sauce or a couple of peas. It's then breaded and then deep fried and then served, typically as a takeaway for street food or as an appetizer in some restaurants. Anyway, we are going to make a phenomenal arancini today. Arancini, by the way, means little orange. But before I take you in the kitchen and show you how to do that, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell button so that you'll get notifications of when I release a video, share with your friends, and leave a comment down below. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. I appreciate those subscriptions, though. Anyway, off we go. Let's get in the kitchen and make the arancini. All right, let's get started. Arancini are deep-fried rice balls. They're a Sicilian specialty. Rice was grown in Sicily many hundreds of years ago, and so this is where it's thought that it originated. And of course, saffron was introduced by the Middle East, and so was rice probably. But I don't really know if it was the same rice like this risotto rice that you find in the north. I have a feeling that it was more long grain rice as opposed to medium grain. But anyway, that's irrelevant. This is the way that it's made today. Arancini was designed to utilize things around the house, like leftover risotto, but now it's become a specialty of Sicily, and you can find it all over the place. So we have our saffron risotto. If you don't know how to make that, I have made a video, and I'll put a card up there. You can click on it. And we're going to stuff it very simply today with mozzarella cheese, and we're going to wrap the mozzarella cheese in this smoked prosciutto. Okay, I think that the combination of the three is excellent. And they're going to be deep fried. I'm going to take a couple of eggs. We're going to make an egg wash. We're going to make these into balls, stuff them with the cheese and the prosciutto, then put them inside of the egg wash, and then into some breadcrumbs, of which we're going to add some parsley in there as well, and a little bit of cayenne pepper, and some regular salt and pepper too. Get a little bit of this Maldon salt in here. And we'll take a few grinds from my trusty pepper mill. Now we'll mix that all together. We'll add in some of these chopped parsley. And there we have our breadcrumbs. All right. Now all we need to do is form the rice into balls, and we're going to make them about 70 grams apiece. I'll be back when we do that. All right, so we have our rice, and we also have this scale, and we're going to make 70-gram balls out of this. It doesn't have to be exactly 70. There's 75. I mean, 5 grams is nothing. But basically the size of a golf ball, right? I'll be back when we have done this. Let's do this with ounces. And you're looking at 2.5 ounce balls, all right? Now there is an optimal size for this. What you want is the cheese to be melted in the center of the rice ball, but also the outside to be crispy, all right, and nicely browned. So if they're too big, the center will not melt. If they're too small, they will just fall apart. It'll be molten on the inside and not and not even brown on the outside. So this is about the right size. Anyway, we'll be back with more. All right, we have about 10 balls, which are roughly 70 grams apiece, or 2.5 ounces. And now we are going to wrap the cheese with the prosciutto. And I'll be back when that's done, and then we'll stuff them. All right. What we do is we take one of the balls and just make an indentation like that. Take this cheese and prosciutto, stuff it in there, and then we close it up, just like this. Now, a lot of people are wondering why I don't use prosciutto di Parma here. And the reason is because these are going to get cooked and it's going to get hot. And I believe that prosciutto di Parma should be enjoyed the way that it's meant to be, which is sliced and eaten without it being heated up. All right, so I will stuff the rest of these and we will come back. All right, now our arancini are stuffed. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to smooth them out like this to make a nice round, or as round as possible, ball that I can get. And then we're going to put them in the refrigerator to let them firm up a little bit. Be back in a moment. All right, now that we have these in relatively round shape, as round as we can get them, I'm going to put these in the freezer and let them firm up while we make our egg wash and put our oil on the fire. Be back in a moment. All right, here is a sauce pot, and I've got some canola oil here. I'm using fresh oil, although believe it or not, when you get these from the vendors on the street, one of the reasons why they taste so good is because it's not fresh oil. There is a lifespan of oil. In the beginning, it really doesn't taste that good. Then it gets some flavor from being used. And then, of course, at the end of its lifespan, the polymers will break down and the oil becomes no good. Now, you notice that I have not filled it all the way to the top, because what will happen is when we put the arancini in, the level of the oil will rise, and we don't want it to boil over. So this now goes on a low heat to get to about 375 degrees until we are ready to put the arancini in, and then we're going to bread them right after we put this on the fire. All right, these arancini have just been brought out of the freezer. Believe it or not, you can do this and leave them in the refrigerator like this for up to 24 hours before you need to use them. So we'll take one of the balls, very simple, put them inside of the egg wash, let it drip off a little bit. Only reason why we do this is so that the breadcrumbs will stick to the arancini. Press them in a little bit, being a little gentle, not too tough, not too rough. And we have a beautifully breaded arancini. We'll do it with the rest of them, and I'll come back. Okay, our arancini are breaded and ready to go. And believe it or not, the oil is about 350 degrees. So let's go direct to the fryer. All right, as you can see, we have our arancini on the left. I also have a sheet pan lined with paper towels. And our oil is a little bit high. So we'll turn down the heat just a tiny bit. And we'll put in a couple of these balls. You have to be very careful. I move them around a little bit. Just so that they are evenly browned. And of course, the temperature of the oil has come down now that we've added these balls in there. You just got to keep moving them around. You've turned down the oil, and so what we want to do is find that balance where we have a nicely golden brown or deep rich brown arancini, while at the same time the center where all of the cheese is will melt and become molten. Anything else, in my opinion, is a failure. So I'll come back when we get these out of the oil. It's also worth mentioning that you can use a spoon to spoon oil on top of these arancini, just like they do in Italy. And you'll see that also when they fry most anything, especially, for example, pizza fritta. Okay, so you can see that these arancini are starting to get a nice golden brown. We are going to let them cook just a little bit longer and continue to move them around to get a little bit deeper, richer color. Because the oil started out so hot, I want to ensure that the inside of the arancini, the cheese in there, does actually melt and give us a little bit darker color here, which is not a bad thing. All right, look at this. I mean, how beautiful are they? These now go onto our sheet pan that's been lined with paper towels. And they'll drain. In the meantime, I'll do the rest of them, and then we'll come back for a little sneak peek on the center of the arancini. Be back in a little while. I want to show you one other thing. On this second batch, I've put 6 of these arancini in here. And remember how I told you about how low the oil was in the sauce pot when we first began? Look how perfect it is with the exact number that we should have inside of here. So this is the reason why you don't want too much oil to begin with. And a lot of times, less oil, or what seems like too little oil, is literally perfect. All right? There you go. A little lesson in deep frying. All right, and now the second batch is almost done. As you can see, still submerged and beautifully frying. And if we just move them around a little bit, they evenly brown so nicely. Be back soon. All right, my Italian food fanatics, you saw me cut into the arancini, and you saw the molten cheese along with the smoked prosciutto. Now, there's many things that can be put in the center of the arancini. A lot of times in Sicily, they'll put a meat sauce. They'll also put peas. It's literally a way to clean out the refrigerator to a certain extent. You don't need to have saffron risotto to do it, but it adds to the beauty of the arancini itself. After all, arancini means small orange. So the saffron lends that color to it. So, it kind of makes sense that way. But here we are. Time to dig in and see if this is any good. Oh, look at that. And it is molten on the inside. You can almost see how hot it is, the steam rising from the inside. In fact, I got to be careful. Wow. I love that smoked prosciutto, but I've already told you my feelings about having Parma ham that's heated up. It just doesn't do it justice. You shouldn't ruin prosciutto di Parma by heating it up, in my opinion. But boy, is that good. The crunchiness is there. It's not greasy or anything like that, even on my fingers. You can see the cheese as it dripped down. It's molten, and that smoked flavor along with the saffron. And then, of course, I did put Parmigiano Reggiano on top, as you saw, and I really love that. And of course, the chopped parsley to give it some beauty. That's so good. Somebody once asked me if these were any good left over. I said if there's any left over, they weren't good to begin with. And that's the case with these. They'll be eaten up. Now, is it worth it to go out and make risotto just to make these? Who knows? To try them, maybe. However, when you do make risotto, make extra risotto, then you'll have some left over, and you'll be able to make these as a byproduct of it the way that it was originally intended. Anyway, before I let you go, please, thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell button. It should be about right up here somewhere, doing all of that stuff. And share, leave a comment down below. And I'd love to hear from you. Even if you're not a subscriber, doesn't cost anything to subscribe. So hit the subscribe button and subscribe. These are so good. Come on, go out and get some carnaroli rice, get a little bit of saffron, make the risotto. I think I have a card somewhere around here that shows you, that'll give you a link to make it. And then make these. Very easy. And very delicious. Okay. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.